Hey friends, Joey Resendez here. This is the tutorial video for the slow Etude, Etude number 2 for the 2021-2022 Tmea Saxophone Etudes. This is Fairling number 29, Andante Amabile. Okay, so key signature, we got 4 sharps. We're in major key this time, E major. Just make sure you have that key under your fingers before you attempt this Etude. Make sure you have your measures numbered. I'll be referring to some measured numbers throughout. So this Etude's pretty straightforward. Not a whole lot to talk about here. Just maybe some phrasing things, maybe a few fingering things. So yeah. So we're going to be counting this in eighth notes. So eighth note gets the beat. So we're really in kind of like a 4 beats in a measured situation here. So first note, G sharp, is going to be 1 beat. Bom, 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 bom. So the dotted 16th, 32nd figure is going to feel like a dotted 16th if you're playing a normal 4/4. Ba-dum, bum, ba-da-dum. All right, starting right there in measure 1. So make sure you really subdivide your 32nd notes, or in this case, your 16th, or in this case, 30 seconds. Bum, 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 bum. So we're even starting to subdivide even in that first note, the G sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Alrighty. And really nice bouncy whenever you have these staccatos in here. Nice, not so short, but just separated. Maybe a little bounce. So the quarter note right there in measure 2 is going to get 2 beats. 1, 2, bum, bum, bum. See a little squiggle right there? Looks like a sideways S. That's a turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that E with 5 notes. Okay? We're going to replace. We're going to go with. The first note is going to be an E, the written pitch, going up F sharp, back down to the E, down to D sharp, because D sharp is in the key signature, and then back up to E where you started. We're kind of framing that E with the upper and lower neighbor tone. One up 1, then down 1, then back up to the note. Ya da 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 da. 5 notes. We're replacing that E with those 5. I guess that'd be like 64th notes. And that happens right there, and it happens again in this last measure. Okay, there's twice we have to do that in this Etude. And when you go up to the high E, the high C sharp, I would just leave you're coming from an E, I would just leave my 2 fingers down on that high C sharp to deal with the intonation on the high C sharp. And then release it when you go to the B, that immediately precedes it. Make sure you follow these. Unlike a lot of these Fairling Etudes, there's a good amount of dynamics in this Etude, so really follow those. And so that F sharp to the F double sharp is going to feel like a dotted eighth. Dotted quarter and an eighth. You have to really subdivide your 16th notes. And then really really decrescendo into the G sharp. You have a crescendo throughout here, so you can kind of terrace it a little bit. So and then turn it up. And so this is a really good. This we call like a sequence. So we got soft, middle, loud. Okay, there's a crescendo throughout there, but you could terrace it a little bit. Boom, ba da da dee da dum, ya da da dee da bum. And then like you have a fermata on that high E up there. Hold it at least 3 counts, I would say, before you move on to the little mini cadenza here. And you don't, I would not play this cadenza like as rhythmically written here. That sounds just dumb. So you could probably start, the way it's written here, you got 30 seconds, 16ths, ace. So it's really kind of like a big retardando, and that's how I would probably play that. So that's how I would do that. Remember, B sharp is the enharmonic tone of C natural. And for that for the F sharp to E sharp, I would use a fork. And then again, for the high C sharp, I would put down my 2 fingers here because I got the E coming after it. So I'm just ready for the E when it comes down. Got the little suspension there going into the E. I would decrescendo that into the rest. Or I guess I should say, make sure you slur from the A to the C sharp. There's going to be a tendency to want to tongue that for response issues. I would suggest doing the covered C sharp on there, so octave key, 3rd finger. That will help with that slur and not do. And you'll get that if you're not careful. So B, so A with the octave key, and then I would switch for the C sharp, put down my ring finger only. Keep the octave key down. Alrighty. So I would be ending that pianissimo, and then when you get to the mezzo piano that comes after it, it's noticeably louder. Might breathe after this F sharp here to really kind of give this high D sharp the accent it has. Remember, A sharp is our enharmonic of B flat. So starting right there on the A sharp on measure 12, so I would do side again. And then for that one on count, or in the 3rd group of 3, I would do a bis there. All while decrescendoing. That's a big crescendo from piano to a mezzo forte. Going there into the end of the 3rd line. And then really, I would do kind of a real big decrescendo. And you don't have a lot of time to do it, so you got to decrescendo quickly into that rest. And then piano here at the next line. There's a 3 up there at the last 3 notes of measure 18. Make sure you play that as a triplet. And I would tongue the last 2 as it's written there. Okay, so the trill here, 2 trills, and then the grace notes. So I would do 2 trills and the graces. That's 7 notes. We're going to place that E with 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same thing there in measure 23. Going from F sharp to G sharp, 2 trills. Keep your G sharp key down to facilitate that. All the way through to the first note of the next bar. And then crescendo throughout here. Same thing here with the keeping of the 2 fingers down your right hand with the high C sharps to compensate for the sharpness up there. And then we have this other turn here on this B. Notice you'll have a little sharp sign underneath the turn symbol, the turn icon or whatever. That means that the lower tone is going to be raised up a half step. So instead of going down to an A natural, we're going to go down to an A sharp. Now I do that with the side key. And we replace that B with 5 notes. So the starting note, B, the upper neighbor, C sharp, back down to the B, and then to the lower neighbor, which in this case is going to be an A sharp because of the accidental. And then back to B, and those are your 5 notes. You could get fancy, maybe just do the, I don't know. That probably takes your hand out of position a little bit too much for the next note. So remember to replace that B with 5 notes. All right, and then that wraps up the etude. Make sure you hold the last note 1 whole count that touches the rest, and while decrescendoing. You don't want to chop it off too early, okay? So like I said, it's a delightful little etude. I really like it. So make sure you make as much music as you can with it. There's going to be most people are going to be able to play this pretty well. So good luck, get to practicing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.